Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry, Rob, and Caleb here. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
Boomer Caleb.
Boomer.
And everybody, reach down and hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to it on. Make sure you download it so it'll download automatically. You won't have to listen to it. And we always got to make our announcement that Sooner football.
Why would they download it if they're not going to listen to it?
Well, they don't have to search for it.
Oh,
okay?
I see. Okay.
And remember, Sooner football fans is not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left.
That's right. Caleb, are you accepting any visits right now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You know, I think,
I'm
Terry,
open, though.
I think that a whole lot of Sooner fans would have suited us up to play defenses yesterday.
Well, I tell you, we could have been the 3-down linemen and got as much a rush as those guys
I don't know.
did.
I'm pretty sure I'd have got murdered the first play.
Oh, yeah.
I'd probably just laid down and like, don't hit me.
Yeah, we're a little bit old for that
I'm
now,
a little
aren't we?
old now, yeah.
But now everybody knows it. Sooners squeak out a victory, 51-46, over the Texas Tech Red Raiders in a tortilla throwing contest.
Listen, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but
Yeah,
the
Rob,
2-point conversion that they missed that we intercepted and ran back,
Yeah.
had that not happened,
Yeah.
I would have been right on the money.
And I love what our buddy Brett Burns said. He goes, only Oklahoma can get a pick two.
But pick two.
The best
I don't know if
coverage.
I've ever said that before.
The best cover on both those 2-point conversions. Like, they are covered really well. Almost
Yeah.
got 2 interceptions on them.
Yeah.
Same guy, too.
We can keep you from getting 2 points, but we can't keep you out of the end zone.
Or fourth down.
Or
and
fourth
short.
down.
Right.
I mean, it was twice. 4th down and short. You got it.
So where do we want to start talking about
I don't
this
know.
at?
I mean, I think you opened it up. I mean, defense.
You want to start with the defense?
Yeah. I mean, for the life of me, I can't understand what was going on in that game because the 3-down linemen, Sooner fans out there, I know we all hate the 3-man rush and everything else, but most of that game, they weren't even rushing. Even Greasy said something about these guys aren't even pushing.
Yeah.
It looked like, and you said it, Rob, it looks like they're just standing there trying to jump up and slap the ball. You said it
Yeah.
during the game.
Yeah,
and
they're
I think
trying-
that's what they were doing.
Trying to sniff out those screens or whatever.
Right.
They weren't doing that. They weren't
But
sitting
they
on those
weren't.
screens,
But
though.
they weren't. Yeah. I mean, I guess the first question that I had was, how bad was it?
I think it wasn't. I think
It
it was
looked-
bad, but I don't think it was as bad as like the score. It's hard to say because the guy got hurt at
That's
halftime.
Oh, my God.
So it's just like,
Well,
but the first 2 touchdowns we gave them. Then
Right.
we got an interception in the end zone that got called back on bullcrap pass interference.
so we gave them 2 and the ref gave them 1.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it was bad. I also give a lot of credit to Cliff Kingsbury because every time we set a blitz, he had screenplay right there every
In the
time.
first half.
The first half, yes. We set a blitz and they countered with a screen pass, perfect timing, and it's a good play call. Like Kingsbury called a perfect game for his first half. Every time we did something, he counted it perfectly. So I don't know if he knew our defense and can read us and just call the right play call. But I mean, that first half, I don't think it was as bad as the score said, but it still wasn't good. And then the second half, I don't like that guy can't throw the ball, and he was throwing all over us second half and in the fourth quarter. So I mean,
So question 2 is, was it better than last year?
well, last year
I mean, is the defense better than last year?
I
don't
think it
think-
is. I think it is.
I think the score makes it sound worse than what it actually was because we did spot them 14 points. Wasn't their
Absolutely, yeah.
fault. They got it. Would have been nice to hold them to 2 field goals instead of 2 touchdowns, but that's not going to happen with this defense. We're still the last in
Red zone defense.
red zone defense in FBS. I mean, they reiterated it that last night. They went, there's a reason why that they're still last. It's the worst red zone defense in the country. And so we spotted them 14 points. And did anybody ever find out what happened to that kid Bowman? What?
He collapsed long.
Again?
Yeah, he got collapsed. So yeah. So that
Buzzy
yeah,
Bolton
so that
hit him
kinda
on.
sucks. Yeah.
Hit
so,
him,
I mean,
yeah. But, I mean, I think for a lot we can be thankful that, the kid got pulled out of the game because he was –
It's not only that too. Like our offense sputtered in the second half
Yeah.
too. Like our offense, we couldn't score in the third quarter, and we can barely score in the fourth quarter. So I mean, that's another thing too. Like our offense couldn't carry us like they normally do. Like we had that game over. We had our foot on their throats, and we just didn't.
and we couldn't finish the game. We couldn't. I mean, we couldn't go
Let 'em
up.
hang around.
We couldn't go up more, and we couldn't stop them when we needed to stop them.
First, we had to run them down.
Yeah.
So once we got them ran down, then I felt like we got into a spot where I was comfortable. In fact, I was texting people while that was going on, and I was like,
Rob,
okay, I feel comfortable.
You never looked comfortable during that game.
I know. I'm never comfortable unless it's 63-14.
Or I was getting mad at me for like celebrating half the time. I was like,
Yeah.
you're not tired.
I'm like, you're comfortable now? What?
I think that may be one of the quietest I've ever seen us three watching a game.
Might have been.
It was just, I think.
I was pretty loud. I was up.
Yeah, we were, but
like
I mean, you know what I mean? It was just like, I think I was more upset at what I was seeing than excited for when good stuff happened. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh my god.
Well, at one point, Caleb and I came to the realization that we were sad because we were happy about getting a stop.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're like, we shouldn't be happy that we got to stop.
That's one year we actually, when Demons got out of the game, it's like, all right, we're good.
But here's what gets me too, and I am not, I mean, I think it was a good move. I mean, obviously we needed to try new blood. I think this is kind of the reality that we're in is, number one, it had nothing to do with Mike Stoops' play calling. Okay.
For sure,
because it looked like Mike Stoops, I put a tweet out last night is, remember, Mike Stoops got fired. He wasn't calling these plays. But nobody wanted to jump on the defense that much, or the defensive coordinator, through anything. And not that I'm condoning that, but it's you sit here and look at it. It's not the scheme, it's the players. They're young. I'm not even going to go into the young, the defensive backfield and all that stuff. But I think this offense has to get a defensive coordinator in there that's as dynamic as our offensive coordinator.
It's also weird too with this game because we didn't miss tackles. Like, we actually tackled well. And the one thing we were terrible about all year long before this game was getting off the field on third down. Well, I said we held them to 3 for 13 on third downs.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that we haven't done all year long. So if we played good in certain areas, it's just that we can't keep it all. Because like one game we play good this area, and the next game we play terrible in that area. We just can't have a complete game yet.
Well, Sooner fans, and me included, were quick triggered on the defense. Meaning, we didn't give up a lot of yards. I mean, it wasn't a ton.
We held them to about what they averaged, 400.
Right.
What they have, 473 total yards.
But when we give up a first down, we're like, oh my god,
yeah.
What are they doing? Of course,
first
one of them
series.
was 2nd and 20, and they got 18 yards.
That's what makes us mad.
That's
the
we
second
set back.
20.
We set back. I mean, like the first series, we had them they got one first down, and we held them out after that. And then, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It was a weird game, and it was just really weird. It's a weird night, and.
Well, and I agree. The defense is still not good. We're not. Nothing we can say is going to make the defense
them better.
good.
We don't need them to be good. It doesn't be decent. Like,
Yeah.
we need to be good, but not great.
That's what we need them to be good, and they're not. They're average.
They're average. But here's the thing. I think they're better, and the reason I think that is, I mean, they did have some open receivers at times, but for the most part, they were covered. And if you remember last year, there were people just like
wide open.
Just ridiculous, and holes that they could run through, and we had no pass rush, and we have some of those things this year.
Mm-hmm.
We have good coverage. We had that one that they caught in the end zone. I mean, he was right there.
Yeah.
Just unfortunately he couldn't make a play on the ball, but we had some rush, but Neville Gallimore was in and out. He didn't play. Like
he had a nasty sack though. That's the one where he grabbed the guy by one arm
I was
and
like,
threw him.
that was kind of violent. I love it.
But one thing, since we're on the defense and talking about their lack of ability to get off the field and everything else, Rob, I know you probably can quote it pretty. Could you give everybody the stat that you read about the Army Air Force game? Their first drive.
Yeah. What I can't remember. It was something stupid.
It was like 13 minutes or
it was minutes, like 21 plays.
21 plays, and they took 12:55 off the clock.
Yeah,
and scored.
Yeah, so that's what Army does to everybody.
12 minutes 55
ranked this week
for that one drive.
One drive.
They should be ranked right this week.
I mean, that's a whole quarter.
We'll look at it here in a minute.
They should be ranked. They're not ranked yet, but they should be. I mean, the ranking got really mad. It comes out.
But
Tuesday, so I mean,
that's what Army does. I still have not, yeah, we should have beat Army by more, but Army did what they were going to do, and that was keep us from getting on the field.
Like I said, like, we couldn't tackle that game. Like I said, that's one thing we have improved since Reffin's been in charge. We're tackling a lot better.
Well,
like, even this game, we were tackling better. It's just like I guess I said, it was weird. It was a weird game.
So just like yesterday and just like in the Army game, we got the W.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's it.
We're not sitting here going, hey, yeah, we're whatever in 3 or 4 right now.
Well,
like Oklahoma State.
Yeah. We ended up with 683 total yards. And we held Texas Tech to 473. We had 360 yards passing, 323 yards rushing, and 206 of those were Trey Sermon.
Mm-hmm.
Did it feel like he ran that big of a day?
I think the first half he definitely did. The first half he felt like it was, because remember we said me and you said he hears carrying books behind him. Like, he was running hard the first half, and then second half he kind of came down. But the first half he went off the first half.
Yeah, I mean he was.
Brooks didn't go out the first half.
He was punishing people,
Yeah.
man.
But he never. I guess he never broke a really long one, so it didn't feel like he ran for 200
he
yards.
broke a lot, like 20, 30-yard runs, and then
7.9 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean,
that's impressive.
and Kyler,
That's ridiculous, man.
And you know what? Some of that there was not a hole to run through. He was.
I mean,
Yeah, he had, and also he had 3 TDs.
Yep.
He was being extremely patient.
Yeah.
And then when the hole did open up, we were talking about that one for sure. That he was almost jogging until the hole opened up, and then the burst.
And then, Lord be with you if you step in front of him, because that dude will lower his shoulder and put the hurt on you.
Yeah.
And Kyle Murray is the first OU quarterback ever to throw for 300 yards and rush for 100.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
So that's my kind of back. I love watching that kind of back where, if he get like Adrian Peterson was, if you get in front of him, he won't hesitate to run you over. But, he's going to turn that burst on. And I got to tell you, Sooner fans, don't hate me and don't at me.
At him.
Don't at me. When I was
name?
growing up, I did not know I wasn't affiliated with a college. So my favorite running back of all time was Earl Campbell, because the Houston Oilers was,
So what Rob's saying is he's deep inside
he's a
Texas fan.
Oh God. That's not the case.
No, you can have. I mean, Earl was a man.
I just love to watch. That's the kind of running back that I really like to watch.
Yeah.
So and then I was depressed, or later in life when I found out that he did go to the University of Texas, but I mean, he was good. You can't deny it.
And he played for the Oilers.
He played for the Houston Oilers, which
You were an Oilers fan, weren't you?
I probably won't wear any NFL jersey, but if I was ever to wear an NFL jersey, it would be a Houston Oilers jersey.
There were nice unis. They should bring those back. Get rid of the Texans and bring the Oilers back, honestly.
So
That's one of the best unis ever. Those unis are nice. The baby blue, the power blue.
Yeah, with the red face mask.
Those are cool.
And the oil derrick on it.
Yeah. So I was sad when they ceased to be when they went to they were going to be the Tuxedos or something, weren't they? Tennessee Tuxedos. I was like, are you kidding me? I hate the whole organization. And then they wound up being the Titans, and I'm like, I still hate you.
What would a tuxedo mascot be?
England?
I don't know.
But one of the things that I want to talk about tonight is we don't get to talk about them, or people don't talk about them as much as they should, is that friggin' offensive line.
Oh yeah. O-linemen never get any love.
My gosh. Cody Ford, Drew Samia, Creed Humphreys, Powers, Evans. I mean,
so if you got it pulled up, give their years.
I know Humphreys is a redshirt freshman.
Yeah,
Humphreys
Humphreys.
is a freshman.
I think
Evans
Ford
is
is a senior, and
Samia
Evans
is a senior.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna lose 2 of them.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man,
behind them too. It's people behind us, and it's just as talented.
If you really, really watch that game, okay, they were putting guys flat on their backs. I mean, and the sideline reporter that was McShay was even saying that he was watching. He goes, that offensive line being down here. He goes, they're just not good. These guys are violent.
Yeah,
they were hurting. I mean, they were putting the hurt on those guys, man.
National media, we're consensus the best offensive line in the country.
Really?
Yeah, most of them, they say that. They talk about offensive line, OU is the best one.
So you also know we got Walker coming in, who is the #1 offensive lineman in the nation next year.
Yeah.
And,
he may start as a true freshman.
Yeah. But I mean, if we can sit here and talk about Kyler Murray, and rightfully so, Trey Sermon and the offense, it all starts with those 5 guys.
Absolutely.
And I mean, they flat out dominated Texas Tech's defensive line. I mean, and there were some blocks that were, like I said, were just ugly. I mean, it was just, they don't stop. I mean, and Caleb, they were even talking about who was it that was running down the field on one of the plays? Was that Ford?
Might have been Evans. I know
Evans
is a freak. I know that. I know the guy's a freak.
Well, quite often they pull both the guard and the tackle.
And the center, too. They can
sometimes the center does pull as well.
They're saying, well, from what I hear from Gabe Eichert, people like that, who play offensive center, they say he could be the best center that we ever had. Humphreys. That's how talented that kid is. His talent is that high. I would say we did get lucky, though, with Ford in the first play of the game. When he just punched that guy in the face.
Listen, I don't know what that guy did to him, but it looked like he needed to get punched.
Yeah,
I would have punched him.
We're not
in his ear.
We're not condoning punching unless whatever that guy did for punching. Because it either looked like he blew in his ear.
I'm pretty sure I'd have punched him.
Yeah, blew in his ear.
But that's just me.
Blew a kiss at something.
Yeah.
But
whatever it was, it caused an immediate reaction.
We had some issues with our tempers this game. CD Lamb went crazy.
Like he had to have said something about his mama.
Yeah, something.
Because he exploded.
Yeah.
I was
I was talking all game. I mean, you were talking about it, Rob. Like the guy was talking the whole game long.
Oh, the whole game. They were
what was that kid, the little glasses kid on Little Giants? Don't be talking about my mama.
I don't know.
I forgot his name is.
But my son was at the game and he said the Tech fans were horrible.
They're notorious for being like that.
Oh, horrible. He said there was a couple times that, of course, all the Roughnecks were together.
Yeah.
So that's probably not a group.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see Andrew and some of the? I mean, there's some big old boys there.
Big boys in that.
So and Rhett's not small. I mean, he's 6'2", 270 or whatever. Yeah. So he said there probably would have been some fights, but well, you get a look at Chase and Andrew and Rhett standing next. The smallest one is 6'2" or whatever. Yeah, you're probably not gonna.
Yeah, they go. Yeah, okay.
Can I ask Rob about his favorite thing about the game? The bell guy.
Oh well, we were going to talk about
the bell guy. What, man? He was working that bell like I was.
It looked so wrong. The kiss of him, just like doing ringing that thing.
It was. He was wore. He was wore out.
Yeah, he was. And you don't have to be. So, I mean, I know getting into the game and whatever your responsibility is, but you don't have to.
The way he was bent over and the way it looked, it's just like you can do the different.
It was like the Rudolph deal, the Oklahoma State Rudolph deal.
I'm saying you go get one of those electric things that you could just hold the button down and let that bell ding, just ding, ding, ding. I mean, his arm had to been hurting.
That was crazy. And their bell people were, what I say it was called, like they had these weird names on.
This is 2018. There's got to be some kind of electronic thing you can put on there.
Yeah, what were their names, Caleb? What did they call them?
I forgot what it was. It's like something Riders or something. The Bell Riders.
Bell Riders or something like that. Whatever they're.
Well, they also had like the Saddle Riders.
Saddle like the Bell Saddle. Something weird. Like
the Saddle Bells or something like that.
Yeah.
But and I didn't. For some reason they have a saddle. Coming out of the locker room.
tunnel.
I don't know what that's.
Well, they have that chick that rides the horse.
Yeah.
That holds their little pistol fingers.
Yeah, they
up.
don't even let her carry a cap gun.
I mean, let her carry a water gun or something. She can squirt people on the way.
That's their thing, just a gun thing. The finger hands. That's their signal. So
that's not OSU. Then OSU do that too.
Well, I think anyone that has like a cowboy, that's what always.
Yeah, everybody else goes pew pew with their fingers, and we got the Roughnecks with these big old cannons carrying around on their shoulder.
Yeah, and Andrew carries a double barrel. It's called Sweet Action.
Or watch the Texas game. Rob was surprised that they let the musket on the sideline for the Mountaineers.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you can't trust those people. They drink moonshine. You just don't know what's going on down there. So,
yeah, it's kind of weird that he was walking around with a
big old musket. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you landed on that thing, that would hurt. Yeah. I'm just saying.
But anyway, on the offensive line, again, they did a great job. Mm-hmm. I don't feel bad about griping about this game because Lincoln Riley said after the game That was just bad football.
Mm-hmm.
And
Really?
it was.
That's what he said?
That's what he said.
That was our worst game of the year.
So
All right.
when your coach says you look like crap, it's okay for us to
Yeah,
complain.
Yeah.
I think that was the worst game we played in maybe 2 or 3 years.
That's
That
definitely
was
our worst
that was
offensive
a-
game.
Yeah.
That was the worst win I ever felt. Like, it was gross. It was like,
You need to go take a shower after
yeah,
that.
like God, like one like that was nasty. Like it was just it's
Okay,
weird.
so let me ask this then. That's a Big 12 offense.
Yep.
And they were gonna put on yards and points, and probably would on just about anybody. Could we or any Big 12 offense do that to SEC defenses?
I think we can.
We can. I think so.
The problem with this game too is also it's just like we put up a lot of yards. Like, we're so spoiled. Like, what was the final score? We scored what 50,
51.
51, and like that's a bad game. Like who says that? We scored 51 points.
Oh, man.
700 yards. Like
Oklahoma
that's a bad
fan.
I
game.
promise you, LSU would beg for half of that.
That went 133 yards in the first. In the
Wow.
fourth quarter.
They had less rushing than Trey Sermon
I
did.
mean, it's just like I think we're so spoiled, but we did play terrible. Like Kyle missed a couple receivers that were easy touchdowns. Like CD dropped a few balls that he never drops.
CD and Marquise
and Marquise dropped balls that never
both dropped
drops.
touchdown
Yeah.
passes.
The guy that does drop the ball, Kakatera, had the best catches of the game.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a weird game. Sorry. It's just like I said, we're so spoiled, but offensively. But we did play terrible though that game. I mean, for our standards, that was a bad game.
Yeah, it was. And if CD catches that one and Marquise catches that other one, I mean that's back to back touchdown,
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
play touchdowns. So I don't know. I don't think it was as bad as people think it was, but just because of the score.
The score. I mean, the third quarter. Did we score in the third quarter?
Yeah, we scored 7.
7.
Yeah.
I mean, 7. We were in the red zone like twice in the third quarter, but
Yeah, we
the personal
scored.
fouls.
We scored 7 in the first quarter, 21 in the second, 7 in the third, and 16 in the fourth.
I mean, we definitely got out of rhythm offensively.
And I think Tech got us out of rhythm because they
Yeah,
were
they were
getting in our face.
Yeah.
I mean, and we didn't like I said, CD Lamb. How many times have you ever seen a 30-yard penalty? I mean,
Right.
2 penalties.
he
on
cost
the
us
same
7.
day. Yeah, and
He took up for it after the game, which is really cool. Like,
Yeah, that was cool.
But I mean, but not even that. Like he had balls, him right in the hands. He dropped it. Like what the heck's going on with it? Like this guy catches balls out of bounds with one hand, the Jumpman logo, pretty much. And he just missed him wide open, drop balls.
Well, you know what? Several of the ex-players have said Lubbock is a strange place at night.
yeah.
So
Well, honest opinion, if Bowman plays in the second half,
I don't know.
does that make any difference?
I
The
think it
way-
might. I mean, I don't
so.
know. Our offense struggled that third quarter. Like we kept them in the game. They had no reason to be in the game.
we still win the ball game.
I think we do. It's just I might feel dirtier afterwards. So I mean,
well,
they're saying crazy stats. Like in the last 8 years, the number 7 seed has lost the first weekend of November.
yeah.
I mean, they're saying a lot of crazy stats. Like this is not good. Quit talking, guys. This is terrible. Like
if
well-
we'd have lost that game, it would have been a crime.
Yeah. Bowman ended up in one half he was 21 or 26
he torched
for
us.
227 yards, 2 TDs. Jet Duffy,
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know, man. That guy, he was torching us.
Jet Duffy ended up
One was interception. But
Jet Duffy ended up 9 of 17 for 139 yards and 2 TDs. So, but yeah, Bowman was, and Caleb really had an issue with his eyes, right?
yeah, his eyes were all across, they were so spread out. It was weird.
That's probably how he could see the field better.
I guess so, man. That was
I
weird.
didn't even notice.
His eyes were a good inch away from his nose, and they're both out here. It was weird.
But I can say this, and I don't know if all this is accumulative or not, but we gave them, 2 touchdowns basically. I mean, we gave them inside our red zone twice.
Yeah,
And
first
then
2 drives, right?
Yeah, and then the pass interference that they called in the end zone where we intercepted that. That's another 7. That's 21. Then the 2 drop pass. I mean, we're talking about 5 touchdowns that we did not get or we gave the other way.
I mean, the one that CD before a second interception, CD had the guy beat, and Cal just barely overthrew him. Not the CD, or Hollywood had the guy beat, and Cal just barely overthrew him. Next play, interception. They're in the red zone again.
Right.
So I mean, It's a game of inches sometimes. It's just like
I mean, that's 5 different touchdowns though that would have drastically changed the face of that football game.
I mean, they got all the breaks first half. They really did. Like they played
And all the calls.
Yeah, it was.
Despite playing probably the worst game that we played all year, and having the worst calls that we've had all year,
We still won.
we still win the ball game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
It's
think
a
it's
road
not as
win.
bad as Sooner fans think it was.
Well,
Oh, and this just in, Lee Morris was 50% this
Yeah.
week.
And 2 touchdowns,
He
Two
caught
4
four
catches.
4 catches, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw that guy the ball every other play.
Well, yeah, at least.
Him and Kyler had to definitely have a good connection. I mean, going back to high school, so I mean,
Yeah, he had 4 catches for 101 yards and 2 TDs. And Carson Meyer caught the other TD. We didn't have anybody else catch TD.
He also dropped
the
a
one that-
critical
yeah, the
4th and
critical-
1.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Can't give a guy a break. Can we?
right.
Well,
That one drop,
I thought-
buddy.
Well, that one drop at the time was very important.
Oh,
'cause
it was
that
important.
quarterback was killing us.
Yeah, it was important.
I just like how it was.
I mean,
it was right. It was that quick. Hey,
We
Carson
jumped on
Mars
him.
had.
That's, I mean,
Oh yeah.
Well, that's like the drop he had. I mean, I think even he would agree that it was an egregious drop because he was wide open, no one around him, and he just hit his hands and
Oh yeah, especially when it hits your hands.
yeah.
Like if you got to work for it or whatever, that's one thing. But it was right in his hands,
Yeah,
like right in his breadbasket.
but and then Brooks only carried the ball 4 times.
Sermon was killing it. I said like Sermon heard the footsteps behind him.
4 times
Yeah.
how many yards?
21.
21. So he's at 5 something a whack.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you also got to look how do you pull a guy out at any point in time when he's averaging 8 yards a carry?
I don't think
Well,
Sermon had any negative yards.
got to keep him
really.
fresh though. Got to keep. And weirdly, we can't roll the dice with our running backs right now.
No.
So
Well, we had a really cool formation we're doing. Like, we're doing like a read option to an option. That was really cool that they're
you
doing
like
too.
that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, because you got the guard 3 plays pretty much, and it worked like every time too. So I mean,
Well, let's talk about the mighty Big 12's weekend. Do we want to talk about?
Texas first.
Yeah, let's talk about Texas first.
Stupid Ellen. Did you see his tweet?
Yeah,
Loser.
and just so everybody knows, yes, it's
Are we on the list?
it is a penalty to put apparently the horns down
What, with those
at Darrell K. Royal Stadium.
No, it's those officials. Those are the same officials that did the Dragon Ball Z handshake. You can't have fun with those officials, apparently.
But you can't put them down. And then Ellen
Yeah,
Elainer,
the G silent, sir.
Elainer,
or it's an H.
yeah.
Ellen.
He put out that anybody who's put the horns down, he tweeted, or the kid, anyone who puts the horns down,
Like,
he will remember them,
Yeah, and we'll get revenge.
and
on
we'll get
everything.
Do I need to spell? It's ROB.
just send him our address.
I hate that guy more than any other Texas player ever. Like, at least McCoy I have respect for because that guy was good. This guy just sucks. He's cocky and like he's so arrogant. Like I just can't stand this kid at all. Like,
Well, see,
his
here's the
face, too.
deal, and I tweeted it out. We tweeted it out today. People, you need to realize this isn't anything. Okay, Texas being whiny is not anything new.
No.
2012 is when the horns down issue became an issue, and
Yeah,
that was
Mac
Mac Brown. Said it was disrespectful.
Let me answer that for Chris.
it was disrespectful. Don't you remember when the NCAA told the stores that if you were an NCAA licensed dealer,
you can't. Turn
you
things
could
down.
not display Texas stuff upside down, which is all of them down on Campus Corner did. They don't even sell the stuff anymore. You used to see the little Texas deals upside
Yeah.
down,
I was gonna rat someone out, but I'm not going to.
but they went
Because
in.
we would turn them upside down every time we go through there.
Yeah, always. I still do. If you go down to Texas, that's your job. But they even went in on a game day deal, and I remember that one of the radio stations were talking about it. Is that licensure people came into one of those stores and said you cannot have that stuff upside down.
Why?
It's a breach of their logo, and. Okay, Mac Brown is the reason why there was the big black fence coming out of the tunnel because he was complaining that people were calling, Sooner fans were calling him names, and
But that won't be fair. How about we switch the sides every year then? If he wants to start doing that.
I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do
Well, I
that.
said, they get more fans than us because we have that one area that's taking off, and they have that. So every year they have a little bit more fans than we do, just because that one area is taking off.
But so it's not just.
Did you hear what Tom Herman said after the game?
Oh, I can't remember what
He
did he
said
say.
that the 2-point shot counted because he was celebrating beforehand, so that should have been penalty.
Yeah.
The 2-point shot counted.
Yeah.
That he was celebrating
So it's
before,
crying
and it
about
should have negated the touchdown or the 2-point conversion.
I'm officially
Man, talk about huevos.
Oh man.
Man, first off,
did you see what you said? Like, there's a video of him saying, "You guys want to go for a win? All right, let's go for F and win. Then let's go."
here's though. I want to be on the West Virginia staff, and I want to. What's his name? Just went blank. The coach.
Holmgren.
Holmgren.
What?
Holgerson.
Holgerson, that's one.
You're watching the Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Holgerson.
Man.
I want to. Somebody needs to walk behind that guy with a pair of scissors and cut his hair.
No, I think
him a little trim while
keep
he's
it like
walking
it
around.
is.
Yeah,
I'm officially scared of West Virginia now, though, after that game. That Will Greer pass he had at the end of the game, like, the balls they had to throw that pass, the catch, the pass, that was good defense. He threw a ball only his guy could catch it at to win the game. That was crazy.
Yeah. So let's move on to Iowa State. 27-3. They got Kansas coach fired. He got fired today.
Yeah, he's
He's finishing out the
finishing
season.
Yeah.
How does that work? I mean,
Well, it's going to take them a while to find another high school coach to come in there and coach them.
You were saying Les Miles?
you go
Well,
in.
we're talking throwing Les Miles' name out there.
But you go in and you tell the guy you're firing him, but you can coach the rest of the year.
I'd love for them to get Les Miles in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if they're smart, they should get a triple option coach, and they can win games that way. That's what Georgia Tech does. I would hate that, honestly, because it makes it harder to prepare for. But I think they should. I think that's what they should do, because you don't have to get good talent to run that offense. You just get scrappy kids.
Whew. Here was a Big 12 game. TCU beats Kansas State 14-13.
14-13. Barn burner.
I think Kansas State's the worst team in the conference. I really do. I think they're going to lose to Kansas this
I
week.
think you're right.
And then, our little brothers up north.
Got this game right barely, because they're losing all game. Baylor was.
And Baylor sneaks in for the
You
win.
picked Pokies?
Yeah, I picked Baylor to win.
Yeah, Baylor.
Okie Stank gets beat by the Bears 35-31.
Well, luckily they didn't ruin it next week, because I thought they lost to make 11 o'clock games.
Yeah,
They
it's a
didn't
2:30 game.
2:30 game, so.
So, that's a good thing, because I
Yes.
would have hated for Bedlam. I don't think I've ever seen Bedlam at 11. It's always been in the
I think
afternoon
the
or
first one
night.
the first one we went to, I think, was 11.
Ugh.
Yes, I mean.
11 o'clock games.
I don't know, but how do you lose to Baylor?
Well, how do you beat Texas and then lose to Baylor?
All
That's
right.
what they do. They win one game and they lose to crappy teams afterwards. And then watch them play us really good next week somehow, because that's what they do.
Because this is their Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, OSU, they're just kind of like I said, they're like little gnats. All right, I mean, they always chirp at us no matter what, but it's just all right, well, your team sucks. Who cares? You can't beat us, so.
They got a little talent there in Stinkwater.
They have the probably best running back in the league. I mean,
Justice Hill, you think he's the best running back in the league?
I mean, yeah, I think he's really good. He has a terrible offensive line. And if that guy was on our offense with our line,
He'd be the
torch.
third. He'd be the third running back.
no, he'll be. He's that guy. That guy's been
Nobody at Oklahoma State could start at Oklahoma.
Okay, Barry Sanders can, but that's
Barry Sanders doesn't play there
He
now.
didn't even
I'm
start
talking
at
about
Oklahoma
right now.
State.
I'm saying that guy. I mean, that Hill kid's going to probably be a first round draft pick, if not second round. That's good enough to play at Oklahoma.
Who was our starting running back when Barry Sanders was up there? What year was that? 1988?
Yeah, it was in the 80s, late
88.
80s. Yeah.
So that would have been Spencer Tillman?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
I'd have to
Just
do too
saying,
much
yeah.
research. But I'm just saying right now, nobody.
Tyreek Hill would start. Tyreek Hill, like I say, he's been second, he's been first round draft pick. That guy, if he got first round draft pick,
He wouldn't be because he's playing. He'd be playing at Oklahoma and get no playing time.
he would be. So he's saying he's good enough to play in pros, but he's not going to play for OU. That makes no sense.
Yeah, does to me. Makes perfect
That
sense.
makes no sense at all.
So, well, let's talk about what are we going to say about Alabama and LSU? Golly,
Alabama's pretty
Well,
scary.
Statement Saturday, I think they made a statement, don't you?
Yep.
Everyone I was going to say, the only negative about this weekend, everyone in front of us made a statement and was impressive, except maybe Notre
Except
Dame.
for LSU.
LSU, yeah, but they kind of figured that was probably going to happen with that Bama team.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Clemson could have scored 100 points if they wanted to.
What was it, 77-3?
Yeah, I think it was like that
Louisville.
third quarter, too, something like that. And then
Notre Dame didn't make a statement.
Yeah,
to me.
they
they barely squeaked past. What was it, 28-21?
Their only hope, because Michigan's not going to lose again. Michigan's like how good our offense is, how good their defense is. You just can't. That defense is really good.
Michigan, I mean, they thumped Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, good game against the Wildcats, and then we're coming in at 6th in the AP and coaches poll, which I think that's going to reflect the same in the.
I think West Virginia's going to jump us.
I don't think so.
In the playoffs poll. That's my personal opinion.
That's fine if they do.
I just kind of hope
Yeah.
it does, because then it makes our resume look better when we go up there and beat them. So I mean, I don't mind if they do it, as long as, because if we beat them, we're going to jump them again.
Yeah, West Virginia is 7 in the AP and 8th.
The community always has a different poll than everyone else. They're going to do something crazy like that, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if that's what they do.
UCF dropped. I'm sorry.
They almost lost to Temple.
Staying undefeated, and they dropped.
They dropped down to number 11.
Mm-hmm. Well, they should have. They just barely got by that one team, didn't they?
Temple.
Yeah.
Temple's horrible.
Washington State went up 2 in the coaches.
I think they should have. They played lights out.
Yeah. They stayed the same in the AP.
Everyone around us played really good. Like, we're the only team that this weekend didn't play good in the top 10, really, besides Notre Dame, I guess.
LSU basically dropped to 9. They dropped to 9 in the AP, and
Is Ohio State 10 still?
no, Ohio State is 8 and 7.
They shouldn't have moved up at all.
No.
They play worse than we did because they're at home.
Right.
And Nebraska's terrible.
Terrible.
Hey, I had the Huskers in that game. It could have happened.
Well, my upsets, I picked Penn State. I didn't really think that was going to happen. I was just going for hope, and that was dead wrong. And what else did I pick? I mean, I picked Baylor, so I got that one right at least.
I think Florida was probably the most overrated team.
Didn't they get smoked?
Oh, they got smoked
Yeah,
at home by
Missouri.
Missouri.
Oh,
who's
yeah.
Really
Missouri.
bad.
Who's not very good. Yeah, not very good at all.
Um,
Really, that SEC, both sides of that SEC, there's like 2 good teams, and the rest of them are just trash.
yeah. I mean, it's LSU, Georgia, and Bama.
Yeah.
Everybody else is average. You could put them against pretty much anybody in the Big 12 or any other conference. It'd be a good game.
Well, the jury's still out on LSU. I mean, 130 total yards.
Yeah.
It's like they all year long they've been spread offense, and like they get against Bama, they got scared and like, all right, we're just gonna run the ball on them. Like, that doesn't work against Bama. You got to spread them out.
I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. I mean, we're sitting here in the podcast palace, and we knew that.
Exactly.
I mean,
because with that Tua kid, they're not gonna stop him. You got to outscore Bama. That's the only way for you to beat them. And because that Tua kid, because they held them 9 points at halftime. I mean, that's as good as you're gonna get against them. They had 9 points. They have like 9 or 13 points at halftime. It wasn't much.
Yeah, I think it was 13 to nothing to halftime.
Which is that's for how the offense has been all year. That's really good. But if you don't score, or keep your defense out there, like LSU was doing, you're gonna get blown out. And that's what happened to them. Because eventually that Tua kid's going to get someone open, and he's just going to throw a ball and pass.
So why do you have a pad?
Oh, well, I thought these were my picks, but this is 2 weeks picks.
I thought he was fixing to do some ciphering or something and put it out there. Well, one thing, let's get off of football for a little bit.
Wait, isn't that what this podcast is about?
Yeah, hey, people like to hear of our culture.
You want to talk about hot dogs?
Hot dog?
Is it a sandwich or not a sandwich?
We all went and saw today Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's why it's a little later. It's come out a little later too.
That's why. So critiques. Anybody want to critique the movie? If anybody doesn't want to know how it ends, obviously you don't know anything about rock and roll.
No.
Okay, it's kind of like watching the Titanic.
I asked before movie started. You think he's going to die at the end? I mean,
we didn't change history with it, but it's a good rock and roll show.
So
movie.
for me, growing up, a huge rock and roll 80s rock and roll fan, Queen was a big band for me, so I really loved them. So therefore, I like the movie,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know that if you don't know who Queen is or like their music, you might not.
Yeah,
care for the
it
movie.
probably
If you don't
wouldn't
like
tell
the
you
music, you're not
anything
gonna
about
like
them.
it because the music is the best part about the movie. How they
Absolutely.
made the songs, them playing the songs, like that's the.
Well,
I love Queen, so I mean,
I-
that's why I liked it.
I thought it was interesting, and when you really, if you listen to Queen at all, none of their music sounds the same, and
They
that
never
was on
wanted to.
purpose. And they never wanted
Right.
their next album to sound like their last.
Genius.
Yeah, and I love they got into a fight about Another One Bites the Dust. They didn't want to play it. Disco? Are you
Disco,
kidding me?
yeah.
This is a disco until the bass player
The bass
started
player one that wrote
playing the
song.
riff, and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, that's
That
That
pretty
sounds
good."
pretty good. Yeah, and obviously they made some pretty good musical decisions.
Yeah,
So
but
Just so you know, Mike Myers is in the movie, and if you think you see him, that is him. Because my dad and Rob did not know it was him. They thought it was
Mike
him.
Myers.
yeah, it
So if
sounded
you
like
see,
him.
If you see a guy that looks like Mike Myers, that is Mike Myers. in
or
the
sounds
movie.
like Shrek.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
In case I broke anybody's dreams
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, if you-
Shrek is Mike Myers. Oh no.
But yeah, so Mike Myers is in it, but it's a pretty good movie. I mean,
It's good. I think it dragged a little bit, but like so, like I said, the music. If you like Queen, you'll like the movie because their music is very main part of the movie. Like it's so.
But beware, there are a couple awkward little scenes there that
yeah,
you know.
So,
But-
not that there's anything wrong with it, but if you have a child, which my daughter went with us, Megan and her family, and her granddaughter was sitting, and she was like, Megan's like, "Oh, well, I read that it was clean. There wasn't hardly any cussing, and it really wasn't. It wasn't a
No, there
It's
wasn't.
PG-13.
There wasn't any. Yeah.
so." But yeah, so aside from those couple of scenes, 2 thumbs up. But, also one thing I realized this weekend, I have like an unhealthy fear of snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, that's me too.
You don't
I
run
hate
like a little
snakes.
girl, do you?
Oh yeah.
I can't really. When I go to the zoo, I can't even go like the little snake thing.
I
They
will
creep me
not.
out.
I will not go on the
They
snake
creep me
house.
out. This is my skin
Funny.
But I was, I told you about the new power tool that I got.
Yep.
I got a Black & Decker leaf blower because I've got these trees in my backyard that are just ginormous, and bought a new Black & Decker leaf blower with it's got a backpack that it chops up the leaves and puts them back in there.
I feel like you're a little too excited about this.
Oh
but
man,
go ahead.
Yeah, I love yard tools like that. But I'm sitting here and I'm sucking up all. You blow them into a pile, and then you get the vacuum thing out and you start sucking them up in there. And I keep thinking, yeah, there's a snake in here somewhere, and I'm not going to see it. Copperheads, you don't see a copperhead in leaves because
Same color.
same color. So I keep having to back up, and of course, anytime a piece of twig hits me in the leg, I like jump. Okay, I'm like, oof, okay, not a snake. and I don't know why I feel this way, but for some reason, I feel like there's a python living underneath my shed.
Well, how am I connecting these? I don't. These dots are not connectable so far because I'll keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I just get, there's a big hole in my shed floor.
Oh,
Okay, that has been, and there's
is it a she shed?
no, is a he shed.
Okay.
Somebody burned down my she shed. It didn't burn down your she shed. It got struck by lightning.
Oh man.
But and then there's a deal that's been worked out on the other side, and I'm just like,
Well, something's living in
so
there.
that's what there's something in there, and if it's a varmint, okay, that means there's snakes around because snakes eat varmints.
Mm-hmm.
Or do varmints eat snakes?
I don't know, but it just bothers me, and that's why I said it's an unhealthy.
Well, do you ever get worried like the snake's going up the toilet? I get worried about that all the time. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's happened before.
Yeah.
They
So,
climb- they
so
climb
what,
up
you
the
just like
toilets.
keep watching that?
No, I mean, I get up sometimes. Make sure it's not coming up. I think I feel something.
Oh boy.
Snake going up the toilet.
Ooh, the psychosis
That's a real
runs
thing.
deep here.
So
Oh,
so
man.
what I am going to do at some point in time is I'm going to get a rubber snake, put the lid down on the toilet and tape a string to it, so when Caleb opens up the toilet,
That one will give me. I want
Listen, you gotta videotape
Megan,
that.
If you got my sister, that she would freak out. That
Oh,
happened to
you got to
her.
videotape that because that would be gold.
well, that his fear of the snakes it comes from me. My fear of snakes is because when I was a kid, I tried to be like my brothers, okay, because they would pick up any snake, and they still do. But of course, they would throw them on me or chase me with them. I'd get nervous, rah, and they would throw them. So, I have childhood issues, Rob. Okay.
Nope, I see it. I see it. I grew up in Southwest Oklahoma, so I'm not scared of snakes.
Oh, really?
Oh, my.
I mean-
anytime I see him, I jump.
I mean, I have a healthy respect for them. I'm
But not a
not
fear.
going to go try and kiss one or anything. But a snake is a snake, and
I think they're evil, but whatever.
You don't go pick them up if you see them and toss them to the.
well, no,
No.
I'm not dumb.
Yeah. So anyway, that's I digress. That's a part of me that I was just thinking about that for some reason a while ago when we were, but I do definitely have an unhealthy fear of snakes.
We all got some people are scared of spiders, stuff like that. Like spiders.
What are you
don't bother
scared
me
of,
at all.
Rob? Nothing.
Scorpions,
Scorpions.
hate them. I hate them. And
Why?
what is the purpose? One of these days I'm going to have to ask God, what is the purpose here? Because I think they serve none.
Yeah.
What's worse? Is the pincher's worse or the stinger worse?
The stinger is worse.
Right? 'Cause it's
Stinger's
poisonous,
definitely
right?
worse.
Yeah, and why did you make something that looks like a lobster have legs and a tail that? Have you ever been stung by a scorpion?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, it don't feel good.
Yeah, it ain't like getting stung by a bee. I mean,
So-
it like hurts.
And you can't really, they're hard to kill.
Are they really?
So I got stung by one when I lived out at the lake,
Yeah,
and I tortured him. I feel kind of bad about
Oh
it.
gosh.
Like I dropped him in Clorox bleach and I left him overnight.
Still alive?
I don't know. I flushed him the next morning, but I was like, that's kind of morbid of me to torture that thing like that. But
So we caught him. Were you happy when you caught him after he stung
yeah,
you?
I was mad too, boy. He was in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
woke me up and stuff.
So is
or
your
you got
bed?
stung in bed?
Just got stung in bed.
That's where I got stung by.
And
one.
I
I
got
got
chased
stung
him
on
down.
the shoulder.
Ugh.
Ugh. Yeah,
Yeah, I hate scorpions.
you
So
hate scorpions.
Yep.
I can only see
And
Robert.
wasps.
I can see Robert catch him. Like I got you. And then, like, throw him in the bleach.
don't like wasps either.
A wasp.
Yeah, wasps are. It's just weird how wasps will, like come up and fly in front of your face for a second, like they're going to do something, and then they fly off. Why do they do that? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Anyway, do we want to talk about football some more?
Well, if we have any listeners left, they might want to.
This is stuff they like. This is what makes the podcast better.
Okay.
The best part of the podcast. Remember, they just go on to other stuff.
So let's talk about then the calls.
When you talk about,
Do you really
calls,
feel like we got bad calls?
I think we should talk about the whole Big 12 calls because the Texas game too was terrible calls too. It's just like I think us as a conference, our officiating in conference has been terrible this year. I mean,
I would agree with that. It's not been good
it's
officiating.
everywhere,
I don't think it was. I mean, because there were bad calls
both ways.
both ways.
It's like Ford should have been kicked out the first play of the game. So I mean,
Yeah,
or whatever play that was.
and it wasn't like the ref wasn't standing right there to see the Ford punch.
Well, I'll tell you this much: Gus Johnson and Joe Klatt were ripping in on those Texas officials the whole game. The whole game.
The whole game.
Well, here's the thing. Calls are part of the game. I mean, they are. Calls are a part of the game.
To play through them.
But they are going to have to be really careful because those calls now they're costing teams games. For instance, that pass that we intercepted in the end zone,
Yeah,
That could have cost us.
they could have cost us the game,
Right.
on a bad call because it clearly was not.
The guy
pass
just slipped.
interference.
He was playing the ball because that's what
Yeah.
the rules is. We're both allowed to play the ball. So he was playing the ball the whole time. Eyes on it, trying squaring it up. Like it's a free ball. It's free play for both guys. You can't just let the guy fall down. It's a free ball. They both should have a chance to catch that.
So I don't know what they're going to have to do, but they've got to get into a situation where they're not going to cost the team the
right.
game because one loss and you are out.
Yeah,
I was saying, those refs with the celebration, like they need to pull those refs aside and say, "You guys are making a joke of our conference right now," because everywhere else they can at least they can do handshakes. You can't put horns down and you get a guy and like you get a penalty for putting horns down when playing Texas. Like that's just terrible. Like I don't.
Well, I think a lot of the horns down stuff. I mean, if you just do it and you're running off the field, I don't think that's an issue. But if you run to the crowd, I think that's the issue.
The first one, the guy
I think it's stupid.
The first one, the guy just caught it and he just did horns down and walked off. Like he didn't do it to anyone.
Yeah,
he just did horns down, and walked off. 15-yard penalty.
And
then the play after that, they kicked a guy out of the game for shoving a guy on the shoulder pad. Thank God we didn't have those referees because we had like 5 guys kicked out of the game probably.
Right. The only time I think that they should ever throw a flag on something like that is if you are doing egregious showboating. You know, you go to the fans or you go to the players and you're trying to rub that in.
Right.
I mean, heck,
You know, if your guys are jumping around the end zone and they do the rock, paper, scissors, I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
it's sad when the NFL actually let you have more fun now because they actually let you have teams that can celebrate now in the end zone, and that's one thing. I mean, that's they're going to do it. Let's let them do it. Like it's nothing bad. You watch every other conference; they have handshakes. Like the Penn State guy we watched a couple weeks ago, he had a handshake with the whole offensive lineman in the end zone, and was one flag thrown at all. So I mean, it was,
Well, did you see? It was the who did we play last week? Kansas State, where Kyler Murray did the rock paper scissors by himself.
Yeah.
because CD and
Yeah, but he was running after he scored. He ran and did the rock paper scissors.
That's because they didn't make it over to him fast enough.
Yeah,
He outran everybody.
but yeah, I agree with Caleb. I mean, they should let these kids celebrate as long as it's not taking up a whole lot of time. You know, I mean, some of the NFL stuff, you know, where they all run to the end zone and they all stand there or stand there to take a picture. That's a little bit much, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you got a little handshake, you know, slap, high five, chest bump, that should be fine.
Yeah.
I agree. Absolutely.
We're the
The
only
refs
conference,
need to keep those.
and we're the only
flags in their
conference
pockets.
that's doing that. Every other conference is like, hey, you can do that. So that one reffing crew is like, nope, you can't do that. Like that's just it's frustrating to watch. I mean, like I said, we have the announcers the whole game long just ripping the officials on national TV game, national game. It's not a good look for our conference or for our referees when they're just getting ripped the whole time.
Yeah, you know something's wrong when that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially Joe Clatton and Gus Johnson. Gus Johnson's one of the most positive guy announcing. And like he was frustrated yesterday with the play call. Like he never was frustrated.
Yeah, but I mean they're not consistent. I think is my deal. But
That's every officially, and they're never consistent.
yeah, you know,
Every crew's different.
Oh, it was and I could be wrong, but the CD Lamb, you know, he got the second penalty for the unsportsmanlike conduct, but I didn't see a flag come out for the first penalty.
They threw the first one, like instantly, I think.
And I didn't see it. And then because they went down, now there's a flag. It was like they got together on that one flag and said, we need to give him 2 penalties.
Yeah, because the first one came out because he was standing over him after he caught it, and then they kept jawing at each other. I mean, he's lucky he can kick it out of the game right there. Cause that
He must have said something pretty nasty.
Yeah, because that could have been 2 unsportsmanlike conducts right there. He could have been gone right there. Like I said, we got lucky. We had 2 starters, key guys that could have been kicked out of the game.
Well, we had 3 personal foul penalties.
Didn't Lee can get one too?
No, can't remember who it was. Was Ford, CD, and somebody else did. I can't remember who it was. Because they even said something about it. Greasy did. You know, that's 3 personal foul penalties. You know, unsportsmanlike personal foul after the play penalties, and it was just. And I said, you know, I don't feel bad about griping and complaining about everything that the defense did, because when your head coach again says it was just bad football, it was bad football. It was an ugly game.
It was.
And I don't know, maybe if it was ugly to us because we're used to that offense
Being
just
a
looking
machine.
like a final, and it just it never, you know, and maybe it's because they'd never been behind by 14 points.
Right.
And that was kind of like Kyle's like really first like real true road game, like real environment like that.
Yeah, and I also seen some tweets about people, you know, saying that maybe Lincoln Riley has lost the team or whatever.
Oh,
he's not a disciplinarian or whatever.
That's bull. I mean, you don't have to be a disciplinarian to have respect of your players, and I think he has their 100%
Well, it's not like they're out there playing book club.
And it's not like when the teams go out there and just chirping them, because that's the one that can beat us. They know that they can't beat us physically.
Right.
We're more talented. Before they didn't beat us, they dirty the game up. Try
get
to
us out of our game.
Get us out of our game. That's the only way they can beat us.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's part of their game plan, which it almost worked for Texas Tech yesterday, but.
Well, Kansas tried that last year. It didn't work at all for them.
Yeah. Well, they're just not talented.
We're going to get that from every team. Like OSU's going to do the same thing. It's probably on the film. It's like this team can get emotional sometimes. So just do whatever you can to get them on a bad side. Okay, that's probably on film now. That's in the recruiting thing now. I
think everybody needs to keep in mind that this is a violent sport, and these guys are not
out there to make friends during the game.
I mean, it's
especially offensive linemen.
They can shake hands after the game, hug, and everything else, and have the respect.
Yep. And,
Sorry.
I promise you, Terry, we've talked about this before, and I know that these guys are not that much different than us. When I had the pads on, if I can knock your head off, I would.
Oh yeah,
I promise
exactly.
you, I would have knocked you out of the game if I could have.
I'd have reached my hand underneath your face mask and poked you in the eye.
I certainly would have done that. I would have, and I did. I would have ear holed you. Which, if you don't know what that is, you never played.
Yeah.
When you ear hole somebody, you just take the palm of your hand and you just slap the side of the helmet right in that ear hole, and it's painful.
And it's like I said, we weren't the only guys back in the 80s that played that way.
No,
everybody
played that way.
Yeah, I had a bad left ankle that was always double taped. I mean, it looked like I had a cast on my junior and senior year. Do you know how many times I was in a pile and somebody got a hold of that ankle and was just wrenching it, and I'm like screaming, kicking, trying, but there's 8 guys on you, but one of them finds that ankle and just starts,
So you do piles. Piles are nasty.
That kickoffs when you're running one way and you're looking back another way. That's when people are looking for people like me, because there weren't a whole lot of people that were going to take me one-on-one, so they're looking for a cheap shot.
Yeah.
So
that's why they get rid of the kickoffs now. That's why you need to
and that's what, but Dick Butkus said it the best. If we're in a pile and you stick your finger in my face mask, I will bite it off.
And what I promise you, he probably did. He probably did that. I bet he did that.
But I say it is like you said, Rob. It's a violent game. People. I mean, there's one play that, it's embarrassing because I mean, if you get pancaked or something like that, or you get manhandled, you don't like that because it's going to get pointed out the next day in the film room.
Right, and your adrenaline is already flowing.
And so the guy gets up, just like I would have, and said, "Yeah,
your mom should play because she could have hit me harder."
Yeah, and you're going to get up, and you're going to get in his face. It's just that's how the game is played.
Yeah.
And there's nothing out there that Lincoln, no reason to think he doesn't have control of the team or anything like that.
No.
It just got, and I think, the saying he's not a disciplinarian. I don't, well, he is. He's held guys out for games. He held, Baker Mayfield out for a series. He held Kyler out for a series this year.
Well, I don't think we have any problems. I mean, we've got some guys that run hot. Yeah. I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, if we see these guys out, holding up liquor stores or whatever, then he may have to crack down a little bit, but I don't think that's the case.
But I don't think you have to be a disciplinarian and stuff. I think if the players respect you and understand that you know the game and you know what you're doing, which obviously this guy knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing offensively, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, that's disciplinary doesn't have anything to do with respect.
Right.
And I guarantee you when he went in that, when he, says out in public on the post game that was bad football, guess what they got today?
Yeah.
they
probably ran a little bit.
and they got shown everything about that game that was bad and that is not acceptable at Oklahoma, offensively and defensively. And in my opinion, in Terry's opinion, last night's or Saturday night's defensive show is why I don't think Ruffin McNeil is the answer. I mean, same result, different coach. I know Lincoln has got his eye out there on somebody. somebody that is as dynamic of a defensive guy as he is an offensive
I don't
guy.
know if there's many people out there like that anymore. I mean, the only guy that was like that is like Kirby Smart. I mean, it's just, I mean, there's no good defenses really anymore.
Well, but you never heard Lincoln Riley until Bob got him. I mean, the coaching deal heard.
Well, the coaching world, they know who's out there and,
Yeah.
and who's willing and, all that business. Honestly, I don't know that he's looking because I think he really likes and respects Ruffin. So maybe we just need to give him time. I don't know.
I think,
But
I mean,
we ain't got time.
Let's say,
We want to be good right now.
let's
Yeah.
say we go out there and he shuts out West Virginia. We're going like, so are we not good enough now? I mean, the stuff that we were at big issues being the year, we fix. Like we're better
Yeah.
tackling, we're getting off the field better, like on third downs. I
Yeah.
mean, that's stuff that we couldn't do that earlier that we're doing now.
Yep.
So, anyway, we got Okie Stank coming up this week. So tomorrow night we're going to have our Okie Stank Fun Fest.
Is there gonna be anyone on this week?
I'm going to try to get. They're supposed to be one of their podcast guys, but that's kind of fallen through. Had a little bit of trouble.
Everyone needs to tweet us their best Okie State joke.
Yeah, anything hateful
I think
and
you just typed the word Oklahoma State.
you know
It's good enough for a good joke.
derogatory towards Oklahoma State. Feel free to at us.
See, that's weird. I just don't really care about them enough to like actually like, yeah. Like they care so much more about us than we do about them. It's just like I'm like, yeah.
Well, yeah,
it's,
but
it's a rivalry to them.
It's a
Yeah.
rivalry, and it was PJ Mills who said, it's not a rivalry. No, it's not a rivalry.
it's not.
And even Rufus said, when he was here, it's a in-state rivalry, but it's not a real rivalry.
It's a one-side rivalry that always loses. That's why they hate us so much. They can't beat
PJ
us.
Mills said, you know what? When I got recruited, they told me I could play against Nebraska, Texas, and USC and go to the Orange Bowl and stuff. They said they never once told me I get to play against Oklahoma State.
Right.
If you listen to Sam Mazzo, it's a rivalry because Sam Mazzo, this is a real rivalry. This is one best. To him,
it's not.
it's one of the best rivalries in the country.
No,
Like,
it's
not.
It's because he's on the
Oklahoma
other
State,
side of it
yeah,
because
it's
it
on
was
the other
important to him.
When's the last time we lost to them?
It was the Tyreek Hill game.
How many
Tyreek
years ago
Hill
was that?
That was it. Like, yeah, that was Mason Rudolph's freshman year, so 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
So,
That Tyreek Hill game still pisses me off.
so there's a chance that no one on our team right now has lost to them.
Yeah,
I mean, Baker Mayfield has as many wins in Bedlam as Mike Gundy does.
Mike Gundy
Yeah.
does. So, I understand it's an in-state, but it's not our rivalry.
Texas.
Is Texas. It used to be Texas and Nebraska. It's an in-state deal, and it's more of a rivalry to, the fans of Oklahoma State, because they hate us because they ain't us.
Right?
Only time we really care about them is like this week, but they care about us every other week. Like I swear, like you would think that when they lose and we lose, you would have thought they won by 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because that's all they talk about. You all lost this, ha ha ha. Like, you just lost worse than we did. Like, what are you laughing at?
And they want to play the transient thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we beat, so-and-so by 17 and you only beat them by 14,
Well,
so
this
we're
year-
better.
This year we beat Texas, y'all didn't. So take that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. So I have a friend that
You got
lives in Stillwater,
smoked by Kansas State.
sent me a deal after that Texas game that said, our logo that says there's only one Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
It says there's only one Oklahoma team that can beat Texas. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
We sent anything to this week after that Baylor game.
Yeah. There's the Baylor game.
Texas
I've
bear down.
not heard a word from her.
Oh yeah, and then because
You just sent a picture of a bear. Just sent a picture of a bear, like both bears, like a real
grizzly bear, Rob.
a grizzly bear, and another bear.
No, I'm not doing that.
Well, you have a shirt on. Just,
But anyway, so it could be an interesting game. I don't think it's going to be. I think we're going to smoke them pretty quickly. Get out on.
I mean, if OSU comes out and plays their best game, I mean, we should. I mean, we're better teams. It's just
Well, yeah, we're better than everybody we played, but I mean,
One close call and one loss. So and
two close calls.
Yeah, and I just want things to turn around because quickly this year because we talked about it before. We're wasting championship offenses.
yeah, because you know what, Kyler Murray's not coming back.
Oh
They're
man,
teasing him
He's
like he is.
not
I-
coming
I
back.
would be surprised if he does.
I would too, but he
But
said
they're teasing him going to pros too. People say he could be legit first round talent pro too. So I mean,
Well, is it out of the realm of possibility that a football team, Dallas Cowboys, just for argument's sake, come up to Kyler and say, listen, if you'll not do that, we're going to go ahead and pay that debt off for you.
Yeah.
And still sign
If
you.
he's just decent at baseball, he gets so much more money at baseball because they pay so much more. And like I think
longevity in baseball.
Longevity, and also I think their union so much. But I think if you play 30 games or something like that, it's a low amount of games. You're in the union for life.
Right.
So I mean, that you're set. Baseball's such a better option.
Yeah, I don't think I know that
we already know
Sooner
he's the
fans,
best sliding guy in the country.
Like Blinken said, he's going to win the slidesman.
Well, you know what? Everybody says he might waste away down in the minor leagues, but you know what? Pro teams might bring a guy up just to run the bases.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's fast enough.
You're not going to throw him out very often. Well,
Right.
I mean, they will. They're pros, but I mean, the guy's obviously
Rob, you saw more
fast.
You saw more than he is a really good baseball player, right? From what you've seen,
He's
seen from him.
fast. He's a good baseball player.
So
He's a good hitter, right? He's a good hitter.
He's okay. I have 298 average this last year with 14 home runs.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna be a power guy. He's gonna be a guy get on base.
He's not going to be a power guy.
He's a lead-off guy, right? Get on base and
Likely they're going to have to teach him to lay off some pitches because he's swinging for the fences and stuff. But I mean, he's got power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not like some of his home runs were shots.
Yeah. Well, and I'm telling you, the game that I watched, I mean, number one, if he gets a base hit, with his speed, there ain't nobody, slowly going up and picking up that ball and tossing it to the inside because he's getting to first base fast.
Yeah. Well, you were. I don't know if you were with me or not, but he gapped that one to right center. This last baseball season, and he was rounding second before the ball was coming back in.
Yeah. And if he's on first and you hit it into a gap, he's going to score.
I mean,
It's a good possibility.
Yeah.
The A's are an organization that would bring him up just for running and stuff like that because that's what they do. They do weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, he's quick.
Yeah.
I mean, he's quick.
It was weird that they said something about it the other night, and I've heard other stuff and seen, that, Lincoln has said something, and and then his agent came out and said no, and emphatically there's this, and this, set up, and it's just weird, unless he put all that money, in a savings account and went.
There's no way he's doing that. You see the shirts he's bought. The shirt he wore last week is a $3,000 shirt. So I mean, he's showing up with Gucci bags on, stuff like that. So I mean, he's spending some money. That's for sure.
I don't blame him. I'd be spending it too.
I mean, some people were saying before the baseball draft, like if he wasn't playing football, he could be the first pick of the draft. I mean, that's how talented he is at baseball. So I mean,
if I'm him, I probably need somebody like the Green Bay Packers to come say, listen, hey, we're going to take you in the first round, and we're going to pay off that debt to the Oakland A's, or we're going to let you do both.
If you're him, would you try to leverage that for the A's? Say, hey, they're offering me this right here. How about that? Skip the minors, let me come pro.
Well, it depends if I want to play another year of college football or if I want to go into the pros.
Yeah.
If any pro team comes looking for him and they say, hey, Kyler, come play pro football, and we're going to pay that Oakland A's debt off for you, and you're going to be in the pros. You don't play at Oklahoma another year.
Yeah.
So either way, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and in case anybody's wondering, the Steelers are leading the AFC North.
Okay.
Now,
my team's not leading because we got the Saints in there, but we're right there. Panthers are right there. Panthers are a really good team.
They beat their arch rivals, the Ravens, today, so it's made me feel good. But
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. Your Cowboys play tomorrow night.
Yeah, they do. Play Titans. That's kind of funny.
The Houston Oilers no longer exist, so I don't have a pro team.
All right. Well, everybody, that's our Texas Tech recap podcast.
Plus life.
Yeah, plus life and Bohemian Rhapsody critique.
Thank you. I mean, you're welcome.
Yeah, there you go. So listen to us tomorrow. We will have our Okie Stank. What else can we call them? Okie Stank,
Just call them Little Brothers.
Little Brothers.
I'm not opposed to calling them the Pukes.
The Pukes.
I've done that before.
Yeah, Okie Stank Pukes. So all these other things that we can call them, but we'll start Hate Week out in fine fashion tomorrow.
You know what their biggest, I don't know, criticism on us, and I don't like it, is the schooner is the original mobile home. Listen, I will come over there to Stillwater and I will smack me around some toothless people. So you got to watch that.
Yeah.
That one, and then the obvious joke. Your Your logo's a bandwagon. Like, funny.
That's brilliant.
Well, all you got to do is win. You'll get some bandwagon fans.
Yeah. We don't have to buy a national championship.
We could apply for some, though.
Yeah. If we would have put the money out there to buy that, they would have gave it to us, not
Anyone
them.
would have. They're the only one that did it. Everyone was like, who cares?
They're the only ones that applied. Wonder what that application fee is, because that's what it cost them.
Yeah.
Really.
So, anyway, that's the podcast. We will see you tomorrow. Boomer up.
Boomer Jerry.
Boomer Caleb. Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Hit the subscribe button right now on whatever app you're listening to download every episode as they come out. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook and on YouTube. Boomer Sooner.